Welcome to the video of ultrasound guided needle placement training. In this video, I shall explain what ultrasound guided needle placement is, and I shall also propose a game to train new anesthesiologists in doing this. The first concept that I shall explain is needle placement. Needle placement refers to giving anesthesia to patients before surgery. This process involves injecting the chemicals to the right nerve or set of nerves so that the patient does not feel any pain during the surgery. This process is challenging. While the anesthesiologist has to ensure that the chemical gets injected into the right nerve, he also has to make sure that the chemical does not enter the wrong nerve, which can harm the patient. At this point, one question must have entered your mind. How does the doctor see where the needle tip is inside the patient's body? That's why the ultrasound device was invented. The ultrasound device gives a limited view of the internal parts of the body which are of interest to the doctor. Let us look at a video which shows how the ultrasound device is used. The doctor is holding the probe, and in the monitor you can see the visualization that is generated by the device. At this point, you must be wondering, how can we use ultrasound in needle placement? It so happens that with a little adjustment to the software, we can use the device to not only generate views of the internal parts of the body, but also to get a visualization for the needle. Let us now look at a video which shows the doctor using ultrasound for needle placement. In this particular demonstration, the aim of the doctor is to get the needle to follow a specific needle path, which is above the iliacus and below the fascia iliaca. Now if you observe carefully, in the left hand side of the image there's a bright line. This line indicates the position of the needle, and as you can see, it's gradually going along the needle path. I hope by this time you have understood how the ultrasound device is used by anesthesiologists. Now I'll try to explain some of the challenges involved in using this. In order to understand the challenges, first we must get an minimal understanding of how this device works. In order to do that, let us now look at a video. For the sake of simplicity, imagine the ultrasound device emitting a plane of ultrasound waves. Whatever comes in this plane is shown in the display. So, if there's a nerve which is indicated by the cylinder in this video, then that will come on screen. And if the needle is also present in the same plane, then that will also be visualized. The difficult part in this is that the ultrasound device is very sensitive, and if the needle is not present in the same plane as the one which is being shown by the probe, then the needle will not appear on the display, and the doctor will not understand where the needle is present inside the patient's body. For a new anesthesiologist, keeping the probe and the needle in the same plane is rather challenging, and that's why we need training. Some of the techniques that are currently employed are the classical method of apprenticeship based training. Obviously, this involves some risk, but a greater threat is that as the number of trainees increases, there would be a reduction in the number of training opportunities. A better way of training is by using physical phantoms. This technique suffers from the problem that it requires the actual ultrasound device. The ultrasound device is rather costly and is constantly in need by the doctors working on real patients. The only way out of this situation is to use simulation. We can use augmented reality and virtual reality simulations for giving the same experience to new anesthesiologists as working with the real device. This gives more time for the trainee to practice before using the technique on an actual patient. This also gives an advantage of working on different types of people because the computer can generate different types of internal anatomy. At the end of each training session, the trainees get a feedback on how they have performed. This is a hot area of research. In University of Pennsylvania, at Center for Human Modeling and Simulation Lab, research has been conducted in this area in collaboration with Hospital of University of Pennsylvania. Since the ultrasound device has to be simulated, it has to be replaced by a cheaper device. And Microsoft Kinect is the cheapest and the most commonly available device which can serve this purpose. Let us look at the current state of research at the university. The mechanism adopted here is a vision-based one. That is why it requires markers. You can see a person holding the probe and the needle. Both of these are covered with markers which are detected by the Kinect. A software program which runs in the background uses this information to calculate the position of the probe and needle in 3 dimensions. This information is then used to generate a simulated image. In due course of time, the output will become much higher in quality and it would be ready to be used by real trainees. There is a potential for building a serious game on top of that simulation software. A foam mannequin can be used by the trainees to practice on. He would have the option to practice on any part of the body and he can make the game as difficult as he wants to. He can get real-time feedback with every practice session. This way, the doctor would have sufficient experience using the device before actually using it on a real patient. Thank you for watching this video. For more on the research, please go to kinectneedleplacement.blogspot.com. I would like to thank the authors of the original videos which were used in this presentation. Thank you.